B-boy wicked beat. Yeah. LetsCypher. Come on. LetsCypher. One time for your mind like.
All right, what up? Dropping jewels with Goku.
Yo. What's cracking, y'all?
We live.
We live. We back, episode 2. Is that right?
That's right.
Word. So, what's on the agenda today, my friend?
Well, it looked like we got some pretty good feedback. I don't know if we should talk about that right now.
Yeah.
And thank you all for the reception and tuning in and all that. We really appreciate that for sure.
Yo, peace. Thank you.
Yeah, I heard good things. I heard the quality of the video needs to get better, so I'm working on that. Hopefully this time it's going to get better. What else? What kind of other feedback?
Just, some of the feedback that I got was just kind of speaking on some real things, I mean, nothing's going to be perfect, but really appreciate those, giving us that, what can I say, constructive criticism.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because nothing's taken personally here. We all love here, man. So, thank you.
For sure, man. Yeah. I heard the length was pretty good. I heard it wasn't too long, too short. Didn't hear any issues about that. So, we're going to keep it rolling and let us know what you think. It's a work in progress, kind of like life, right?
Yep. And make sure anything about life, you hashtag the what? Dropping jewels with Goku.
Right.
And let's go.
Right. All right. So, I think today we're going to talk about just kind of like, some man stuff, maturity.
Right.
Some of the kids these days, they say adulting. But,
adulting. Is that what it is?
That's what some of them say, but.
Okay.
Peter Pan's out there. So we got to make sure some jewels are dropped so people know.
Right. Yeah, man. Man stuff, maturing, adulting, whatever you want to call it. That is a process for us men, for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And no shots out to the enablers out there. Not right now.
Right. And some of y'all might not even know who y'all are, but you're out there.
You're out there, So what's up, man? Like, how you want to do this?
Well, I mean, I think the best place to kind of jump into this topic is, right before you're legally 18, when you got that line of like, I can still kind of wild out, but things are gonna get real soon. We all been there, at least in that phase, right? Kind of creeping up on that line where like, I can still do some graffiti, but as soon as I turn 18,
right,
a little more harsh, or just. So I think for me, I think that's a good place to start. But I know development as a man even starts earlier than that, right?
Yeah, I mean, of course, that's why us fathers, we need to be around for our children, for our sons and our daughters, or our daughters and our sons, definitely play the role of a loving, caring parent. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when we talk about being a father, I think this whole machismo type, chingon type attitude has to come out, and, some of these dads are like afraid to maybe kiss and hug their sons because they don't want them to kind of develop into some weak person. But me, I'm on the flip side of that. I don't agree with, always being hard on my little boy like that, or my daughter, or my own for that matter, Yeah.
Iron sharpens iron, but you don't always have to use iron. You know what I mean? It could be a sword can be like caressed with like a nice cloth. You know, like
Yeah.
there's time and place for everything, kind of thing. To me, at least. So.
Yeah, and that's great. That's, you look at certain martial arts movies, you know what I mean, and you think about sometimes when a villain has the hardest looking sword, look like it'll cut through your car, you know, and then some dude pulls out like a bamboo stick, you know, totally like, you know, gets real with that, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
yeah, like, it's just like some old Bruce Lee stuff, you know, be flexible, you know, with whatever you do, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. So in being flexible, there's always like you always got to change, right? So you're adapting from, you know, being a 17-year-old cat to like being a man, 18-year-old, but you still got so much more life to experience.
Right.
What are the kind of things we should just kind of make sure we just bring up that people should be looking out for at being like around 18 or whatever? Like I don't want to say the traps of life and the man, or, you know, like obviously taxes is a big deal, you know. Hopefully, since we don't learn that stuff in school, you know, hopefully you start realizing, like, you know, by the time you're legal age, you should get your taxes taken care of.
Right. Stop putting off the real things that matter, right?
Or that just come back and mess up your flow later.
And that's the thing. So like, you know, hitting on that itself, when you think about, you know, young men today, I'm going to be honest, we're going to mess up, right? Everybody's going to mess up. That is a part of the process. Go ahead and mess up. But it's like, what are you going to do after you mess up? What are you going to do to change and be better after that, right? Exactly. And I mean, you don't notice it until later, but that's actually the teacher, is that you're going to continue to have, you know, bumps and hurdles to jump over, you know. But I'll tell you what, if you in that mirror and you're saying, hey, you know, this is what I got to do next time to be better, and not, you know, keep going through the same thing, and you start making this own circle for yourself, you know, when you're not accountable for, you know, the things that you mess up on. Right.
Yeah, man, that's a great analogy. So the circle is even, I just see it like it's going down the drain, really, but it's a circle. It's, you know,
right.
It's going downward. It's moving in a circle, but man, it's not good. What else would you think, that, like, just off the top, kind of?
You know, I would say, I think pride has been something that young men don't know how to control when they have the ability to control it. And it breaks my heart sometimes, man. You know, you try to speak to them, you know, these 20-year-olds, you know, 18-year-olds. And like we said, some of them just don't want to hear it. And that's fine. You know, I'm not the type of guy that's just going to keep ranching on you and torque wrench you until you snap off the block of a motor. I'm not going to do that. You know, I'm going to tell you a few times. If you ask, I mean, I might not even tell you if you don't, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so when I think about that process of letting go of pride, and, you know, you probably can have some blessings with pride too, where you'll win some things in your pride, you know, by using it a lot, pride yourself through it. And then totally feel like crap later on, you know, so it's all balance and it's all control to me. My first experience, you know, as a father, I prided myself in raising my firstborn, you know what I mean? And, man, I was just not perfect, but I mean, what did I know as a young dad? You know what I mean? And growing up fatherless myself, rest in peace, Dad. But you know what I mean? Like, we're all a learning process, man. And
all a learning process.
I would say my firstborn is probably my biggest teacher. and, you know, it's not until, you know, your children become adults where they can really tell you, like, you know, their feelings on something. They really can express themselves. And man, my firstborn has made me such a better listener today. You know what I mean?
And all your full attention.
Yeah, and just like, hey, yo, Dad, stop with the bullshit. Stop. You know what I mean? So, big ups to my firstborn. Love you so much. Peace.
That's crazy, but it's crazy. Yeah, it's that yin and yang, man. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, he's taking, but you know, he's also giving at the same time.
Right,
So,
right.
you know,
Yeah,
that's
yeah. And
what's up.
I mean, there was things that, and you know, in that situation where I feel as a young man, where I wish I could have provided um, emotionally, not just for my child, but for the mom. You know, like
Yeah,
having my stuff together to the point where, hey, look, how can I help you? And I, you know, I did my best, and I still continue to do that. But you know, there are some things that I wish I could have done better. You know what I mean?
totally, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, we all do, right? You know, that's just kind of part of having that perspective and wisdom is looking back, like, man, if I only knew, I only knew.
Right.
Right, but you know, some of these cats ain't even picking up the clues and pieces on the first go around.
And, you know, it all comes down to like what others are struggling with, especially young moms, you know, and
Oh,
what they
for
got to
sure.
struggle with, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, I never wanted to look at anybody else's struggle more than I wanted to see my own, and that was bad, you know, and that didn't better the relationship or the situation. And today, it's a whole different story. We are very blessed, both as parents. And, you know, if I could give any advice to young fathers out there, it's totally better yourself. You know, if you have some responsibility, own it, go out there and get it. Whether, you know, I don't know what it is, go get paid and support everybody around you. You know, start with your children and their mother first. If you are not with her or you are with her, you know, like I just feel that opening up financial freedom for yourself or freedom within time spending with your children. If you are that person to go out and get bread, do it, help, because your kids will benefit from it later. You know, they'll benefit totally from it later. And I'm gonna say this. I think that, you know, it's so important that kids have their mothers happy and smiling and available to them. You know, that's just how I feel as a father, regardless of what I have to do as a dad. I'm going to try my best to keep pushing forward to help their mother as well, regardless if we're together or not, you know?
Yeah, yeah. It's a support system, really. You know, a literal system. You know, so one thing holds up the other, even if they're not directly connected in some certain ways you can visually see. You know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
it's truly a support system, and it's dope that you like not only realize that, but you like you preach it. You know, you have no you don't bite your tongue at all about that because it's important. You know what I mean? Like
The most important thing,
yeah.
the most important thing for me in my life, you know, personally.
Yeah, man. That's what's up, man. And big respect to you. Salute.
Thank
You
you.
know, setting the tone, man. So, okay. How about this? What about being an artist? You know, a creative, someone like yourself. You know what I mean? You're athletic, but you're not a jock. You know what I mean? You're creative, right? So to me, how is it to be a man and be in the arts? And first, you know what I mean? Because from some cats, obviously, like dancing, you're like, oh, you just dancing. You know what I mean? So like, I guess I wanted to just bring that up. Like, how's that ever been for you? And what kind of like advice could you give on that? Like, you know what I mean? I'm sure nowadays it's not that big a deal. It's on TV everywhere. But, you know, growing up for us, it was like dancing as a dude. Sometimes.
Yeah, you know, like, how does that correlate with me as a family man, or how does that just like me as like just a man and the dancer, like how people, you know, portray me as a, you know, man versus a dancer, you know, like,
how do you see the difference? Like, how do you see the difference from when we had that? We couldn't really have that same support from a man to do it, and then you have today. You know what I mean? So, like,
and you know what, you do. Let me hit on it, man. Like, first and foremost, after my father passed away when I was 8 years old, he got hit by a drunk driver. You know, so I had to live with my grandparents basically, because out here in Fresno, there's such a big drug problem with methamphetamines, you know, whether he used heroin or, you know, some type of ice, you know, something, you know. And yeah, unfortunately, my mother was addicted to drugs, you know, and could never keep a stable home. So I was with my grandparents all the time. And my grandfather's Black and Native, and my grandmother's from Louisiana. She's from Lake Charles. So I was raised in a Southern home. So that should give you an idea of what it was like for me. No
nonsense.
You know, it was, you know, my grandfather didn't want to hear it. My grandmother didn't want to hear it. Out here in Fresno, in our first episode, we talked about, you know, Fresno being heavily involved with gangs. And, you know, the Hmong community out here was the ones that were breaking. And they were also involved with gangs. And my grandparents knew this. APs, LBs, ORBs, TRGs, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. It was crazy out here. And then you had, you know, Bulldogs, you had Norteños, you had Sureños, you know, like you had Bloods out here, you know, all kinds of stuff. Crips.
Squads on squads.
Yo, and the 90s was wild, especially if you were Mexican, Black, or Asian, okay? You know, like, I hate to say it, but, you know, there was no real talk about white folks, you know, or white boys, white girls. And you know, who said that? If you was white and you was kicking it with, you know, some Asians or some Black people, you had to have some real skills. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
All my brothers, you know, regardless of color, you know. I'll tell you this. My grandfather just didn't approve of it. And, you know, I took some real harsh words. I took some discipline, some real Southern discipline from my granddad. You know, love you, Papa Charles. And I learned a lot from that man. But, you know, I think some of his discipline came out of fear and love. And it's not that, you know, I was abused in any light. He really did love me, you know. And I mean, just to see that man, you know, wait at the door for me, you know, at times when I would like go out with my buddies or something, he'd be like, hey, where you know, what you doing? You all right? You know? So I knew that, you know, there was love involved. So, and he was a Black man. So, you know, that's gotta be, you gotta understand from that point of view, being a grandfather, raising your grandson, you're a Black man in the 90s. I mean, you had back surgery. I mean, you've been through life. Life. You had people, you know, stereotyping you, judging you. And I don't even want to start to imagine what it was like for my grandfather, you know? Yeah, for sure. You know, so yeah, man, he was just like, I don't want you doing that breakdancing. You better keep playing baseball. He really had that like tough love, you know? Yeah. It wasn't until, man, there was a day where he had a heart attack, and I went to a breaking event, and he had told me not to go. And it was out of town, and I shouldn't have did this, you know? And so when I got back home, my grandmother was like, your grandfather's in the hospital. Where were you? And I was like, I couldn't lie about it, man. I've never been good at it. So I just told her I went to go break with my friends, and she says, well, get your stuff together. We got to go to the hospital. And, you know, just walking in and seeing my grandfather laying in the hospital bed, he just broke down into tears. I was thankful that he was alive, you know. And, man, he just said, why'd you disobey me? And I said, because I love it that much. I love breaking that much. You know what I'm saying? And you know what, man? He asked me, he's like, why? And I was like, when you come home, I'll show you. And so I think I threw on Superbad by James Brown. You know,
great choice.
And I was like, yo, Pop, listen, you know? And so I threw on Superbad, and I started doing flares, and he was like, wow, you're really good. And ever since that day, he was like, well, if you're listening to this in my house, then we straight.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, so, you know, that was my story, and that's what James Brown had did for me. You know, I don't. And James Brown, you always hear it. James Brown saved my life. James Brown saved my life too.
He changed family tradition.
There you go.
Because since then, it's dancing and breaking supported in your family. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So James Brown has changed family tradition.
And you know what?
Lineage, you know what I mean?
Yo, he came through, I think a few days later and was like, yo, Charles, check out these records. And then he pulled out a record by Ohio Players.
Oh.
And it was the fire one. It was the fire. I looked at him and I was like, okay, Pop, cool. Like, I was like, I'm not listening to all.
Yeah. But that's ill. He had it on wax. He knew where it was at. He went and copped it. Yeah, man. Tuck, ready to go. He's like, nah.
So, I mean, you know what? Yo, Sean, like, I think what it's done for me as a father, I'll be real with you. Like, breaking has taught me so much, you know, about, do I really want my own children to kind of go through some of this stuff that I went through? Okay. Now, if my son, for one, if he wants to continue my legacy, as long as I see that he enjoys it and he has a passion for it and really loves it, then yes, I'll nurture it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'll be that dad. Mm-hmm.
But he can't just easily just jump into that. Like, yeah, that's what I want to do. Like, no, you gotta get put in that work, like we all did. You know what I mean?
And you know what? It boils down to that for me. You know, where like I see some of the dads, you know, they want their sons to follow after them. In my walk with breaking in the 90s, it was pretty rough. You know, I don't think I would want my son to endure some of the things that some of these OGs put me through. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And you know what though? Respect to the OGs, you know, that I was around and that I got to battle and that I lost to because I did lose. And respect to them, man. You know why? Because some of them was trying to talk to me about being a hot-headed ass kid as well. You know, and, you know, Alien S said it the other day. Man, who would have thought to put Charles and Alien S in the same room or the same building in battle? You know, and I thought it was beautiful in what he said because he's right. You know what I mean? Like, he's just so right. You know, some young knucklehead ass kid trying to prove a point with some air flares. You know what I mean? Yeah. And, you know, man, respect to Ness and respect to like all of Rocksteady at the time, and you know, you do get some jerks, some real asshole ass type people from different crews, but you know, you learn how to mature and deal with that type of stuff later on. You know,
yeah,
but peace to everybody.
Yeah, peace to the OGs. You know, they were hard on us for a reason. You know,
yes, sir.
Those are some of the things that the culture teaches. You know, a young man, a young boy, and then those are the blessings in disguise. You know what I mean?
Right.
You think you're just dealing with some dude at a battle, but he's actually trying to put you on some game for life. You know?
Yo, and that, you know what? I got a message from Ness the other day about that same type of walk is you might not be the best in the world. You might not, be acknowledged for things that you do. But cats like that, they'll remember you if you always been real with them and kept it 100 with them, and actually lent your ear to them instead of like throwing your hands.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And some people really want that credit when they didn't really put in the time too. I grew up battling, man. That's all I did. I battled. I practiced. I was like, yo, let's do this shit. I do this shit. I don't talk about it. I just do it.
Right.
So, I appreciate Ness sharing the words that he did the other day with a few people, because I think these few people needed that lesson. They needed to hear it.
For sure. And that's, man, I'm just so glad that cats still speak up and give us that knowledge and that wisdom, that perspective. Because sometimes, at least if it's on the internet, I might not digest it now. I might digest it in a year or 2 years. Or, it's still there for me to get. So, that's what's dope. That's what's dope about using this stuff the right way. You know what I mean? Man. So, yeah, I guess for me, it's the same. Pops wasn't into it. He's just like, yo, that's not but like, nah, like you 6 foot something, you should be just dunking on cats. And
Word, yeah.
you know, he was like, nah. So I had
Yeah.
that issue, and then of course, you know, he thought it meant like, you know, you're gay, and it's just like, nah, not that
Yeah.
either, man. It's just, it's competitive in a different way. You know what I mean? Especially back then, b-boying. So I was just like, you don't understand it, whatever, man. And so I think probably for me, my like vindication moment was like, you know, I threw that Unsigned Hypes battle out here. And, you know, once he got to see, I got like, you know, 200 people together. There's a cop outside. You know, he was just like,
This is real nice. This
all
is
right.
the control. This is organized. Yeah.
Like,
for sure.
wow, like, you know, you were just breakdancing in our garage for a little, but now you're actually putting on an event for all these people, all these kids, you know what I mean? So for me, that was the moment enough. That was enough right there. Cool. Like, I had enough. I proved my point. You know what I mean? So for me,
Yeah.
you know, that's kind of when the family lineage broke as well for me. So, you know.
But you got to think about these men too, like how they had to be in that time.
Yeah.
Let's just say the 60s and 70s.
For sure.
Bro, like what was going on at that time to make them who they were? I mean, you had to be slow to speak, quick to listen in that time, because if not, you was either going to get like
handled.
You know, and if you was a man of color, you was about to get it. You know, like let's be honest, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, no, I get where they came from. You know what I mean? Like my pop's in the military, so he's just like, of all things, the least you could do is go to the military. It's like, all right, well, that's one I like spin on my head, dude. Like,
yeah.
So, yeah, man. I'm just glad that today it's on TV. There's a lot of studios available. It's accessible. It's not like, oh, you have to meet homie who knows a homie who knows a homie, and he can teach you just one move. Like,
Right.
you know. So in that sense, I'm just grateful that, you know, as man, whatever, like, dancing is just more acceptable for a man or a boy. So. And
you know what? I think that people, men especially, they need to chill out, man, because you never know, man. You might be the most, you know, superstar type guy. You might win all kinds of titles, and you know, but your child might have a total different feeling, you know, might be born a certain way, and you just really got to ask yourself, could you imagine your life without that child? You know, or I really couldn't imagine my life without all three of my children, you know, regardless of what didn't stay together, you know, or what did.
Yeah. How it turned out.
You know, and I, you know, I just want to be able to be a good listener for them, you know, at all of them, and smile upon, you know, the little mistakes that they might make, but always be there to catch them, you know, and just talk to them. And you know, I think that we could all talk and be a little bit lighter on our kids. And I'm not saying that all our kids deserve a trophy for everything that they do, because I don't believe in that either. You know, I feel that that's what a problem is in breaking right now, is we got too many damn crybabies. People cry too much, you know what I'm saying? It's either you got some old ass dude making some meme, you know, or you know what I'm saying, like about this person, that person, yo, which some of them are hella funny, but you know,
still, but yeah.
Still, like, or you got some cat who has been, I don't know, codependent on his mom for his whole life, breaking his whole life, trying to tell people how to dance and how not to dance, you know, like, regardless, I think a real B-boy or B-girl is just going to be doing them, you know what I'm saying, and expressing themselves. Like I said in the first episode, that's what really makes you the B-boy or B-girl, is tapping into you, you know what I mean, and, you know, keeping that fresh at all times.
Yeah.
But just be lighten up a little bit, man. Let your kids express themselves, you know?
Yeah. Give people the benefit of the doubt. I think a lot of times especially with the information era, it's like, well, the information's out there, you should have known. It's like, nah, like, you know, like, give people the benefit of the doubt. Like,
You know, when you talk about that, patience is something that I learned as an instructor or an educator in breaking. You know, I've been out in Fresno, you know, doing this for 26 years, and I've been teaching since I was 20 years old, from the community centers to, you know, other establishments to my own establishment all over the world. You know, shit, I used to teach you, you know, like when I think about it, it's patience that some people don't have. But I think that is what we get as instructors or, you know, educators, is that we learn more patience. We have more patience because we're going to be here. We're going to be around. We love this. You know, hip hop is such a big part of our lives, you know, and it'll never go away. It's not like tomorrow I'm just going to wake up and start listening to country. I'm cool. Country is just not cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool. You know, but I will tap into more of like my neo soul love, you know, whether it's like R&B or some, you know, hip hop music. I'm always going to go back there. Right. You know what I'm saying? Soul music. Man, just if I learn how to play instruments, I'm going to have to figure out where that started at and know more history on that. And that's hip hop to me. Right. You know,
just expanding. It should be never ending. You know what I mean? Shit's like kung fu. You know
yeah. You know, like who says it? Polsky says it all the time. Always a student, right?
Yeah.
Always a student. And I think about it. Sometimes it could be a little cliche because some people can come off real masterful and then say that. But honestly, like, are you that master that wants to continue learning, that wants to continue to do other things by using your platform in breaking or whatever it is to propel you that way, you know?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, dude, like, he's not liked, but Robert E. Lee, that general, he said, like, a man's education ends when he dies, you know what I mean? So it's like, there's always something to learn daily in life, so.
Yeah, I mean, hey, there's a lot of people out there that quote Bruce Lee, man. And when I think about Bruce, man, he just had such a jam-packed life, you know, with doing movies, being a father, being a husband, you know, being a martial artist, like being a businessman, being a superstar. I mean, you think about it, man, this dude wrote, you know, so much poetry as well. There had to be time for that. So, you know, he was on a schedule, you know. I think about like Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest humanitarians, I think, of like his time, you know, and my favorite artist of all time is Muhammad Ali, you know, and man, I would love to be someone along that line within breaking like that, you know.
Man, those are some big shoes to fill, but
hey,
you know, if you're shooting for somebody, why not the legend like that guy, the GOAT,
best.
Man, greatest, yo.
Yeah, man.
Man, so what do you say after Muhammad Ali? Shit.
You know, there's really not much to say. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because he just did great work.
Raised great children. They're doing great things.
And I guess that's what it boils down to, right? It's just respect at the end of the day and love at the end of the day. You might not necessarily get that from everybody, but if you're getting it from your family and your real friends in life, then you did something. You did something. And hey, if you touch on other lives, other communities, whether it's in Rwanda, Africa, you know, or I don't know, Vancouver, Canada, you know, Sao Paulo, Brazil, and you know, you're making positive impacts, man, it's gonna show, you know. And we always just gotta remember, no matter what, we pay it forward, right?
Exactly. Pay it forward, man. That's that people tax. That's what that is. You shouldn't be afraid to pay it because it costs nothing. You know what I mean? Pay it forward. Damn. So, what's good, man? We practicing soon or what? Yeah,
we doing it. We're gonna do this. You know what I mean? We're gonna get you back, you know, lubed up, oiled up. You know what I'm saying?
That
you know,
WD, that WD-40.
Eat in a breaking way. You feel me?
For sure, for sure.
But yeah, man, I think this was a really cool episode just for some young men out there, and just to kind of take in some things maybe that they're struggling with, and always support the young ladies, especially if you're a father. You know, always support the young ladies, trying to find a way to be better. Make your situation in life better. And coming from experience, you know, I think we've all kind of leaned on a woman, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we've all needed that help as men. And I'll tell you what, though, I think today we just need to start stepping our game up and showing that they can find security through us again, and find a home or a place of love within us again, you know. And that's just where I'm at. And my new walk is just to try to better myself, you know, with all the politics going on within breaking right now. I found something else, man, to do, which is like do a garden, you know. Hey, right?
It's hard work, but you get something in return.
Hey, man, you really do. You know, you get to see the fruits of your labor, right?
True that.
I mean, that's a gnarly ass. Look at that.
Damn, son. That's the.
What you got to say to the young man out there, Rictor, man?
That's from the Goku balls. Throwing them Goku balls. Wow. I just want to say, you know, don't be afraid to ask questions as a man. Yeah. You know, you could be shy. I'm shy. I'll pull somebody aside and ask them a question. You know, if there's like five of us homies kicking it, but I got a question just for Charles, you know, I'm going to wait, or I'm going to be like, hey, Doug, like, can I just holler at you real quick? You know, right. Be like, hey, man, like, when, you know, your wife was like, or when your girl was like 2 months pregnant, did she do this? Or whatever, you know what I mean? But that's kind of what I would just throw out there is, you know, being from that generation that had less fathers around, it's on us to at least police and help each other. So ask each other the questions. It's cool, man. Go to the damn doctor if you have to. Don't let some shit get too crazy.
Man, and that, I think that's what it is too, is I know men in their 40s that are still afraid to go fix their child support situation, or they're afraid to go and actually find out about child custody or something like that. You know, like, don't be afraid of that. You should hit that harder than anything you've ever had in life to hit. And that's how you know how strong you really are.
Yeah.
You know, because there's people in that system that's going to tell you what you need to fix in life. You know what I mean? Because our kids honestly didn't ask to be put in that situation. It is what it is.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And, you know, I'll tell you what, though, man, you might not like hearing some of the things they have to say for real, you know, and that's how you're going to know if you want to be better in life or not, because, hey, there's cats out there with no license driving their kids around. There's cats out there with no passport. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you let those little simple things in life be took from you because you don't want to get your P's and Q's together, you know, or your ducks in order? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not going to let that happen to me. I like having the freedom to drive my children around, or even drive myself around.
Right.
You know?
California.
And I think Common said, like, $214 ain't worth your soul. Come on now, bro. Right? Like, it ain't worth your soul, man. Like,
that's a jewel.
You know, you don't do that. Like, and it's like making the past so that you're able to take your kids to the park, or, you know, take them to lunch. Those little things are so beneficial for their life for when they get older. Hey, man, you remember Dad, when you with this, you know, especially your little girls, they remember that when you take them out, you know, and you treat them right.
Yeah, you took them to ice cream. And
yes.
It was the first time they had mint and chip, and they remember that because they love mint and chip now.
And they don't even say that. They say the green ice cream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the green ice cream, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And then your boy's like, no, I want the blue. And I'm like, man, I'm getting the white.
Right? With some sprinkles.
But I guess it just kind of just boils down to all that stuff. And don't be afraid of taking initiative to be a better father, a better man. Because through being a better father, you will be that man that you always wanted to be or looked up to, you know? Yeah. And I'm still going there. Like I'm learning how to just open up my heart to men that done me wrong in my life. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, it's okay. Right. I'm doing really well for myself, not just financially, but I'm doing well for myself emotionally and spiritually. You know what I'm saying? That I'm able to kind of help people in their areas of struggle. You know what I'm saying? And I think that should be, you know, some type of infectious thing that happens with us, you know? It's using the God within us to really be like, hey, look, man, what can I do for you? How can I help you? You know? Yeah,
exactly. It's just, you know, taking it and passing it, man. Like taking it, making it better and passing it, or just taking it and passing it on. But you just can't ever hold it. You know what I mean? Like you got to take it, make it better, give it on to the next man. And hopefully that's somebody you trust. If not, at least give it on to the next man, period, right? I think for me that's enough said, man. Like this was insightful for me. Like, you
know, and before we get out of here, I just want to close it out and say last year I was dealing with my older brother, Ruben Flores. He was struggling with the kidney and pancreas. He needed a transplant, and he didn't have a place to live while he was going through this. And this was probably one of the hardest things that I had to see him go through. Of course, when we were kids, he got like diagnosed with a really bad diabetes. And so over time, it just kind of took over him. Hey, man, you know, whoever was there for me in that time, really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I want y'all to know that Ruben is healthy. And, you know, he was at a really low point in his life where he lost a lot of weight. And, you know, I took him in here and I moved my brother in and I took care of him. And, you know, a lot of the family got together and kind of helped out. But he was with me 24/7. And I just want y'all to know that he's doing healthy now. And he just got his own place out in Sacramento. So I'm really happy that he's doing better. And, you know, thank you. It's been a struggle to kind of see him go through things and actually, you know, get up and make food for that guy and making sure that he's okay. I already have 2 little ones as it is, and I teach a bunch of little kids too. So it's rough on me, but I'll tell you what, at the end of the day, it's something that I know that I had to do. And I'm really happy and blessed that if anybody who has sent prayers to us, thank you so much. We're really appreciated. He's a survivor. And thank you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, much respect, man.
Yeah, man.
Speedy recovery. I see. I know you got some work for him he can do as soon as he starts feeling better in the back right there. But yeah, I hope he's recovering and, you know, he's doing good.
Well, man, next Sunday,
it's on.
Yo, if anybody has questions, hit us up. Hashtag DJWG. Dropping jewels with Goku. Yo, peace.
We out.